All I wanted was a big, brainless summer action flick. We got Transformers 2, but I'm not going to watch Transformers 2. I promised myself that I would not see Transformers 2. Right after I saw the first movie, I promised that I would not see Transformers 2 if Michael Bay did not cut back on the comedy relief and the racism. And if you don't already know how that turned out, good for you. So, yeah, just a big action flick. All I wanted. There was G.I. Joe being advertised. And it had Marlon Wayans, didn't want to see him. It had a trailer that made it look just terrible. And I didn't want to see that. But I heard one good review. One good review, and in a moment of weakness, I decided to go see it. And it was good. Yeah, I'm as surprised as you are. It was the summer action flick I was looking for. It really was. I'm still in shock. It was not magnificent, but it had explosions, it had car chases, it had characters, likable characters. Yeah, had kind of cool villains. But yeah, one of the things I guess that really made it, that really killed it was, killed it before it hit theaters, sorry, is the trailers and the stuff they released. It made it look really bad. Dennis Quaid's costume, it made it look, yeah, bad. Worse than Transformers is what it made it look like. And it wasn't. The characters were good, the action scenes were suspenseful, except, man, it's the advertising. Sometimes the advertisers screw up, and they can do so much damage to so many other people's so much time of work. That wasn't a coherent sentence, but basically, these guys spend a lot of time putting together a movie, advertisers screw it up. That must suck. One thing, okay, spoilers, I forgot to mention that, spoilers all over the place. There was a scene in Paris where they're trying to stop the terrorists from blowing up the Eiffel Tower. Well, guess what we saw in the trailer? The Eiffel Tower fell over, so we know they don't win. And so you're watching that going, okay, Eiffel Tower screwed. And the suspense is kind of stolen out of that scene, I have to admit. But if it wasn't, it would have been a great sequence with a little bit of a twist. I mean, this movie does go into slightly darker areas than you would expect a G.I. Joe movie to. Pardon me a moment. Should actually put some water in that. Anyway, it does have a few darker concepts than I was expecting, and that took it in some areas I wasn't expecting. Mind you, this was not some intelligent, makes-you-think film. It had a lot of cliches. A lot of cliches. But they were well-done cliches. They were some of the good cliches, not some of the, oh god, cliches. Let's see. The logic. I kind of require a film that I see to follow some kind of logic, and this was not a perfect film in that regard either. The logic was suspect, but mainly it held. Okay, one thing, Duke, why did they let him on the team? Hate to say it, but he was not the right guy since he kept letting his emotions get in the way when it came to the Baroness. Why would they bring him on another mission after he let them go? He had them both in his sights. He didn't, they let him go further onto that. He was a liability. Why? Anyway. The other thing, of course, is the villain's motivations. This was almost funny. I like the twists that they came up with for this. Even if, I don't know if they would have been twists for anybody else. I did not follow the G.I. Joe stuff when I was a kid. If you're going to have a pointless war between two factions, they might as well be able to turn into cars, No endorsement to Michael Bay, by the way. Okay, so yeah. Basically, the villain's story is, I'm a soldier. Oh, look, nanites. Those look cool. I'm gonna take over the world. I'm gonna turn my sister into a supervillainess. I'm gonna turn your head metal, and I'm gonna put on this silly mask. How does it look? Not very impressive, I have to admit. Whap! Wang! Yeah, because his face is metal. Anyway, don't really understand why he did that besides to be ironic, but whatever. Let's see. Characters, as I said, likable. I'll start with Duke, I guess. Duke, in the cartoon and anywhere else, he's the generic one. He's white and American. Kind of the prototypical. And despite this, he does have some empathy. I mean, he holds true to that. He's not the most interesting character there. But yeah, still likable, still empathize with him. The things around him are more interesting than him, but he interacts with them well. Marlon Wayans' character, Ripcord, whatever. Like I said, I did have a ban on the Wayans brothers. I still do, but I'm modifying it to be a ban on Wayans brothers comedies. Because honestly, despite all my fears, he was likable. He might have been my favorite character in the film. That's a premature statement, perhaps. But there was none of his trademark shrieking. None of the toilet humor I might have been expecting. I mean, it's a script, you know. He doesn't need to do it as an actor to survive. So he can be other things than the script provides, and he does. He provides comedy relief, but not in the way that comedy relief usually is done in action films. He's kind of the funny guy. But he has dignity, and I appreciated that. So, Marlon, you're off my complete ban list. Let's see if you can get yourself some more good roles, please. Okay, I'm grouping together my look at the Baroness and Scarlet. Women in action movies either have to be psychotics or ice princesses. Usually it is the villains who are the psychotics and the heroines who are the ice princesses. Well, nothing has changed. With Scarlet, the whole ice princess angle, it didn't really work. It's not like they didn't play up her must make sense logic beep boop beep thing. She's she seems like a fairly normal person most of the time. But they did kind of play up the whole angle of her being an overachiever. They should have worked with that a little bit more. But in that respect, the overachiever aspect kind of worked, and her chemistry with Marlon's character worked. As for the Baroness, the thing is that she's, spoiler again, is that she's not really the villain. She's kind of been brainwashed to be the villain, and that, you know, she works altogether as a villain. She's got the crazy, and you know, not much to say there, but yeah, that does creep me out. At the end of the film, she still has the mind-controlling nanites in her. It's just that they're inactive, but they're in her. So, and they said it would take a while to get them out. So that means that the sequel, which is pretty obviously coming, and I'll talk about that later, the sequel, she's going to come back. Basically, she was mind-raped by her brother. There's no other way I can really look at it, and so that makes the whole thing really kind of uncomfortable for me. Yeah, I can't really look at it as a standard villain thing, because that's pretty awful to me. But he's a villain, you know. They're villains. It should be a little disturbing. I don't know if that's what they were going for, but when I think about it, it really grosses me out on several levels. Anyway, so that's the Baroness. Overall, I would say that the plot was good. It wasn't too complex, but it did have a few corners to go into, a few ideas that you wouldn't and yeah, as I said before, actually, a few ideas you wouldn't expect from a G.I. Joe movie. Another big spoiler! The President gets replaced by a villain. In a G.I. Joe movie, President is probably dead at the end of the film. That's unexpected. Now, as for the sequel, I said I'd take a look at that. I welcome it. Besides the whole thing that I'm not really going to be able to look at the Baroness the same way throughout it, it's, you know, they set it up very gracefully. I mean, well, semi-gracefully. They set it up. They didn't just, it doesn't look like they're just going to arbitrarily tack it on, and they might actually have some ideas for it. So, awesome. I hope to see you guys the next summer or the summer after. Just be there for a summer flick and try to maintain the same level of quality. That's all I ask. Yeah, okay, well, that's all I really have to say about G.I. Joe. I was not planning on seeing it. I saw it and I enjoyed it. Have a good day. Thanks for watching.